It's all over, brother. I fell short. I failed all of you. But most of all, I failed myself. Life as we know it, it would never be the same again.
Tina Matua, Uncle McCoy is being melodramatic again. Makoa, you hurt your niece. Stop being melodramatic.
Nick and Michael will be here any minute, and Tama refuses to come out of his room. I want everything to be perfect, but he wouldn't.
I love you, dear boy, but the way you're acting, you make Uncle Jarrett look sane.
I just think if Michael got to know me, things would be less awkward.
And your father, if he wanted to avoid Nick, that's his choice. Not everything can be safe, Makoa.
I just need some time to think. It's been 14 years, and I loved Nick.
Your Tama lost an arm, and you invited the man responsible to dinner. This isn't love tucking, this is guilt. But you didn't steal that bike, and you need to stop pushing yourself for your ex-boyfriend's bad decisions.
On Lecky, there's something I have to tell you about that nut.
They're here! I'll get it. I want to see Uncle Makoa's head explode.
Welcome to Olympus, brothers.
Thanks. I only grew up in this paradise hellhole, which you should know, so have to ask, what your head doing in yesterday's match? Any other memory issues?
I thought you were someone else, AJ. My head is fine.
As long as it's on straight, no time for the rest. Bangalore needs us. Syndicate called.
I swear if this is another quest for a duplicate head.
Boy, you get your jump kit and set us back before I whoop your ass. It's search and rescue, not whine and complain. Yeah, sorry Gibbs. Anita requested you specifically. Heh.
Okay, but the stew is simmering. Don't let that meat stay in them juices too long. Nick hates Socket Leviathan. And when I get here, don't you go sticking that tongue out at me, Missy. When they get here, I'll tell Nick.
Tell Nick what?
Ugh. Oh, hi. Hi yourself. Where's Michael? Oh, he's at the Trident, unloading the bags. Oh, I can help him.
You don't have to.
I want to.
Maybe you shouldn't. As dorkable as this is, we got to go.
Go. Legend emergency, search and rescue. You boys get settled in. Aunt Lecky will show you around. And don't you worry, brother. This shouldn't take long.
Makoa, good gods, what happened?
We need to leave now. Samurai, pack your bags. Where are Nick and Michael?
In the backyard. What got you so panicked? Tina Matua, I'm scared. It's okay, little one. I'll help you.
Help! We need help! No, not Nick. Nick, please tell me. No! 1 minute he was, and then the next his eyes were bleeding. You gotta help me save Michael. Please, you gotta help me save my son. Next, the boy who hated Gibraltar. Welcome back, my legends, and today I'm going to go a little bit more in detail in the Sins of the Father comic because this deserves a little bit more explanation if you have no idea what's going on. Now, in order to explain all this, I'm going to use the Pathfinder's quest book as reference, so here we go. Now, the most important parts you need to know about chapter 2 about Gibraltar's lore story is that at the age of 14, he ran away from home. The reason he ran away is because his parents did not want him to go fight in the Outland Civil War. Now, for the people who don't know about the Outland Civil War, basically what happened is the IMC had a big presence in the Outlands, but they started to withdraw and eventually they completely left. And the reason they left is because they had an order to make one final stand in the Battle of Gridiron. So what happened is that once the IMC left the Outlands completely, there was no real big entity to enforce any law, meaning that if you own land in different planets, but you live in Olympus, do you really own those places if nobody can enforce that you own them? So people saw this as an opportunity to either gain power, and the people that had that power had to hire people to protect it. So this civil war in the Outlands basically was a war for greed and power. So I think this is why the Gibraltar family refused to get involved in the war, even though that's what they're known for, to protect people. So basically they saw it as a meaningless war. But of course, Gibraltar didn't really see it like that because he was losing friends and he was being told he couldn't help. So that's why he ran away in the age of 14 to Solace City. He got a job working at Thunderdome, and that's where he met Nick Gentile, where they both worked at Thunderdome and also in the markets. Now, what's interesting about this is that Gibby actually tells us how they became a couple in one of the loading screens in season 5. Gibraltar basically said that they were caught in the Thunderdome cage, and Nick took the blame for him, and when Gibraltar said why, he basically said, for you. So what happened later on in the quest book is that Gibraltar convinced Nick that they should fight in the Outlands War war, even though Nick was hesitating in doing so. Now, we learned this from the season 7 comics that Gibraltar said that Nick was against the idea of running away to fight in the war, but Gibraltar was able to convince Nick to join via peer pressure or also stupid love. He's not really sure. But what happened is that they decided to steal his father's bike, and they unfortunately got caught in a mudslide where Nick and Gibraltar had to be rescued. Long story short, Gibby's dad was able to rescue both of them, but unfortunately, Gibraltar's dad lost an arm in the process, and Nick decided to take all the blame for him, which led to Nick ending up in juvenile detention, and Gibby feels responsible because he feels like he gave him the wrong future, because from Gibby's perspective, when it was time for him to step up for Nick, he refused to. Now, part of that is because his dad refused to believe that his son would do such a thing, and Gibby was also probably afraid that his dad would never forgive him, which is kind of the reason why the family do not like Nick, and also why Gibby's dad is kind of avoiding him at all costs. He still hasn't forgiven Nick for something he did not do. Now, let's talk about Michael. Now, we don't know much about Michael other than the fact that he's Nick's son. Now, for some reason, Michael really hates Gibraltar. Now, it's not known why he hates Gibby, but my guess is it has something to do with his mom not being around. That's my best guess, but this will explain why Nick had to bribe the security guard to tell his son that Gibraltar was not here. So this kid does not like Gibby for some reason. I'm guessing we're going to find out in the next chapter. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you all next time, my legend.
As I stumble in the dark, shadow